All right. Welcome, guys. We got a nice 10-game NBA slate to go over here. It's going to be a stressful one for sure, and one we're going to have to monitor. A lot of news. So be ready to be on your phone all night if you, in fact, are playing NBA DFS tonight. So, all right, let's go over what we know so far. Victor Oladipo, I believe, has already been ruled out or not expected to play. Let's see. Christian Wood is expected to play, but will be on a minutes limit, so don't have interest in Christian Wood. But that does definitely affect. Oladipo already ruled out. That definitely does affect the rest of the Rockets. Makes them way less appealing, in my opinion. Kemba Walker ruled out. Tristan Thompson once again out. Jimmy Butler questionable. Let's see. Magruder doubtful for the Pistons. Kyrie Irving ruled out. This is for Thursday. Kevin Love out. We expected that. We got the Wizards starting lineup. Wiseman out. Pascal out for Golden State. Whiteside is available to play. Halliburton will start, but will be on a minutes limit. Now, I think that's kind of... I looked at that and I was like, what? Because Halliburton played 28 minutes last game. So what kind of minutes limit is it? That just kind of annoyed me because Halliburton was a guy in the mid-range I actually like a lot today. But we just don't know what that minutes limit's going to be. So that does, I'm just a little bit annoyed by that he's still on a minutes limit even though he played 28 minutes last game. So it's, again, what kind of minutes limit is that? We're rating on all the Raptors guys, Siakam, Van Fleet, McCaw. So, that is pretty significant as well. Taking a look at these odds, Bucks and 76ers, a 235.5 over under. The Bucks are 6.5 point favorites. Nets and Pacers, a 230 over under. The Pacers are 1.5 point favorites. Kings and Wizards, a 247 over under. Wizards a 1 point favorite. Absolutely love that game. I know it's going to be popular, but still, I think you're going to want at least some exposure to that. Toronto and Detroit, a 217.5 over under. Raptors, 5.5 point favorites. Celtics and Cavs, a 212.5 over under. Celtics are 8 point favorites. Warriors and Rockets, a 230.5 over under. The Warriors are 12 point favorites in this one. Spurs and Bulls, 223.5 over under. The Bulls, 1.5 point favorites. Heat and Grizzlies, again, waiting on Jimmy Butler news, a 219 over under. The Grizzlies are 2 point favorites. I think if Jimmy Butler was playing, I think the Heat would be favored in this game. So my guess is there's no Jimmy Butler, but just looking at those Vegas odds. Hornets and Nuggets, a 228.5 over under. The Nuggets are 6.5 point favorites. Clippers, Mavs, 226.5 over under. The Clippers are 2 point favorites, and that rounds it out for this 10-game slate. All right, so let's go over the first game here, Sacramento and Washington. Again, a game I want this is probably the most appealing game on the slate in my opinion. So De'Aaron Fox at the top at 9-2. I don't think he's going to be super popular on the slate, but I do really like him. Going to play close to 40 minutes. Again, no Bagley, Halliburton on the minutes limit. So, the minutes are going to be there for Fox. It's a great matchup. So, really do like him at the top. Also, love Rashawn Holmes at 6.7K with no Marvin Bagley. He played 41 minutes. Now, I do want to say Whiteside is available to play, so he should play the backup 5. So, I don't think we get 41 minutes out of Rashawn Holmes again, but if we get 35, I think he's still a good play at this price point. So, do like Holmes a lot there in the mid-range. Barnes and Hield, both viable as well. I think I would prefer actually Buddy Hield now. He has recently been playing better. 5 of the last 6 games, 46, 51, 34, 46, and 40 fantasy points. A guy that actually has been doing more of the peripheral stats as well. And again, I like the matchup. So actually, I'm intrigued here by Buddy Hield in the mid-range. Again, Halliburton at 5.5K, played 28 minutes last game. They said he's still on a minutes limit. So I don't know. I guess we get 28 to 30 out of Halliburton minutes-wise, which makes him a decent play at that price. And that is it for Sacramento. On the Washington side, again, we know where the production's coming from. It's Westbrook, Beal. Like them both, and just a great matchup. Definitely think you can stack this game up. Really like Westbrook at the top. Beal even, I would say slightly riskier, but love the price there. So really, really high in both the Washington guards. Rui's been playing well recently at 5.8K, but I'll let others chase. I know he's gone for 52 and 41 fantasy points. I don't think he continues that level of production, so I will pass. And the center rotation, I will not be messing with. Moving on to Toronto and Detroit. Hard to say right now, right, with all those guys questionable. I would say Siakam, I think, was leaning towards playing. Van Fleet got upgraded to questionable, or upgraded from doubtful to questionable. If they're all in, then I'm probably going to stay away from Toronto. So, but if they're all out, then obviously, it's Lowry, it's Powell that look good. So keep an eye on the Toronto news. Detroit, not a ton I've interest in. Jeremy Grant, contrarian play. Mason Plumlee not playing big minutes. DeLon Wright's all right, but not a priority for me. Isaiah Stewart, I think, is a decent value play because he's just continuing to play 20 to 25 minutes a night. So, yeah, Stewart is someone I could see going to. Dennis Smith Jr., Wayne Ellington, Magruder, all questionable. I mean, if they are all out, the Pistons are going to be pretty thin. So, like, maybe you could look to a guy like Saban Lee if all those guys are out for value. Brooklyn and Indiana, so Harden at the top, I think, is one of the best plays this slate. No Kyrie Irving, no Kevin Durant. Really, really do like James at that price. I think he's a clear play in cash games. Other than that, I need to see what they do with the starting lineup. Bruce Brown was like basically phased out of the rotation the last game, only played 7 minutes. We'll see who starts. I don't know if I want to mess with it, to be honest. They are still, besides the studs, like all their secondary pieces are basically healthy. So might be a situation I stay away from. We'll see. Like Tyler Johnson is at the flat min price. He's been playing about, 15 to 18 minutes. If he starts, I could see taking a shot on him. Claxton, we know, has been, carved out a role in this offense, playing about 15 to 18 minutes. He's a really good point per minute guy, but yeah, I don't know. I want to see what they do with the starting lineup, but a little bit worried about Brooklyn and their secondary pieces. We'll see what they do. Moving on to Indiana, Domantas Sabonis at 9.4. I think it's actually a pretty good play that does go overlooked. Should play 35-plus minutes and is in a really good spot. LeVert, revenge game narrative, I'll probably pass for now. 27, 29 minutes in 2 close games. If I knew he was going to play 35 minutes tonight, I would have a lot more interest in him. I think I prefer Brogdon just because I think the minutes upside is higher with him. So yeah, Brogdon over LeVert for me, even though there's a revenge game narrative there for LeVert. And that is it for the Pacers. So that's 3 games up, 3 games down. Let's refresh and make sure we're up to date here. Jeremy Lamb out, not big news. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. We're at 200 viewers, 18 likes, guys. Can we reach 100 before the end of the show? That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, so let's talk about the next game here. So that's Milwaukee and Philadelphia. On the Milwaukee side, I think Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know if he's going to be super popular. I know Philadelphia is good defensively, but it's just he's playing 35-plus in close games and literally probably will get you a triple-double. So I do like Giannis. I don't know if he's going to be super popular on the slate. We know, or he should. Harden should be the chalk on the slate, but that might lower the ownership for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I still like him at the top. Other than that, there's not a ton of love here. I could see taking a shot in one of those bigs. Portis has more upside. Lopez safer. But nothing that I feel super good about. On the Philadelphia side, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, at their respective prices, I think, will go overlooked. Ben Simmons should play about 35 minutes. A guy that does have triple-double upside and gets a pretty big boost with no Joel Embiid. So I have some interest in both the main guys. I don't love the price on either, but I still think there's upside. There's enough meat in the bone to get to either of them without Joel Embiid. No thank you on that price. And Howard, Tony Bradley at 4K. Did only play 17 minutes, so I'm probably not going to do that. And then, Seth Curry, Shake Milton. I don't think there's much there at their respective prices. All right, Boston and Cleveland. On the Boston side, so no Kemba Walker is pretty significant. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, I think are both fine spend ups. I don't think either are a priority, though, for me. Really where I'm looking to is with no Tristan Thompson is Daniel Tice. Now, he's going to be popular. I expect around 25 to 30 minutes. And a guy that does get a pretty big boost when he plays the 5 as opposed to the 4. So I am pretty high on Daniel Tice for value. Robert Williams, you want to get a little bit contrarian. And he's been a really good point per minute guy, but this price point does make him a little bit riskier. I still think, again, he's in play for GPPs. I'm curious to see what they do with the starting lineup. But what I'm always concerned with Boston when there's like a couple guys out is Brad Stevens is just so hard to trust. Like, I would not be surprised if he throws some random guy off the bench in for like 30 minutes instead of guys that we expect, right? We expect Pritchard, Teague, Marcus Smart to get a pretty big boost, and it'll be like Semi Ojeleye, or it'll be like Grant Williams, right? So, I don't know. Marcus Smart, since coming back from injury, that kind of eased him back in, 21, 19, 25 minutes. If he starts at the point guard and it's not on a minutes limit, then I would have some interest in Marcus Smart. So we'll see. Again, like guys like Jeff Teague, Peyton Pritchard, if one of those two start, I would think we get at least 20-ish minutes. So keep an eye on the starting lineup. But I will just say be careful because it's Brad Stevens, and he is one of the worst coaches for DFS at least. All right, let's move on to Cleveland. Not a ton I like here on the Cleveland side. Jarrett Allen seems still a little bit overpriced. The one guy I think I have some interest in is Larry Nance, and the reason is only because of the minutes, right? He played 38 minutes that last game. Not a fantastic point per minute guy, but if he's going to play 38 minutes again, then yeah, I think you see someone you could look to at that price. But yeah, that's about it. I will mention JaVale McGee. He had a big game last game, played more than usual. I think normally we get about 15 minutes from him. He's a good point per minute guy, but like I said, that's just more of a GPP play. Golden State and Houston. So this is a game that does have some blowout risk, but if it does stay close, you could see some pretty big scores on both sides of this game. So Steph Curry, Draymond Green, really do like both. The one concern is, do you think Houston can keep it closer? It's a 12-point spread, so that is definitely a risk, but really like Steph if the Rockets can keep this game competitive. And I love Draymond too. So we already have no Wiseman and no Pascal. Draymond might have to play a lot more at the 5. And again, just a fantastic spot here. So really high on both the guys at the top for Golden State. Again, no Wiseman, no Pascal. Kevon Looney might have to play a little bit more. Christian Wood is available, so it's like they might need Looney to play 15 to 20 minutes. I could see taking a shot on him at min price, but not a great point per minute guy. On the Houston side, so again, Christian Wood, I have no interest in him with him being on a minutes limit. I expect, I would say, 25-ish minutes from him. So at 8.5K, I'm going to pass. Again, Oladipo not playing. So Kevin Porter Jr. at 6.8K, I think is one of the better plays of the slate. The only concern is blowout, right? And that is, that's definitely a risk. So that's the one concern with Kevin Porter Jr. If this game does stay close, I expect 35-ish minutes from him. So really do like Kevin Porter Jr. And with Christian Wood playing, that does take a hit to these secondary plays. So guys like Jayshawn Tate, KJ Martin Jr. are more secondary options for me. Same, again, Patton, I'm not really on with Wood there. Sterling Brown, keep an eye on Danuel House and Ben McLemore. They're both still questionable. If they're both out, then I could see getting to Sterling Brown just because I think he'll be a guy that probably plays 35 plus minutes as well. So that's what I got there for Houston. Let's see. Let's refresh this, and I think we got 4 games left to go, and then we'll get to some questions. Yep, we're still up to date here. So let's talk about San Antonio and Chicago. On the San Antonio side, I do like DeJounte Murray, and I do think he goes overlooked. He is their number 1 on offense with no DeMar DeRozan. Should play about 35 minutes, and it's a great matchup. So like DeJounte Murray there. Don't mind Jakob Poeltl, probably plays around 30-ish minutes. I think he's a fine option. Derek White, Keldon Johnson continue to be popular and continue to bust. Will we get a big game from one of these guys? If this game stays close, we probably will get a decent game from at least one. But right now, it's just, I would say, the more tournament plays. And that's probably it on the Spurs side. On the Chicago Bulls side, Levine for tournaments, I think looks pretty good. Still don't think he's a cash game play at that price point. The guy that does stand out for value, Tomas Satoransky, if he starts again, 26 and 31 minutes in back-to-back games. If he starts again, I would say somewhere around 25 to 30. Starting point guard below 4K, good matchup. Yeah, give me. I'm all in for. I'm not all in, but I'm saying I think Satoransky is a really good value if he starts again. And then Thad Young has been starting. Actually, the minutes have been going down, but he had a big game last game. I think he's just a guy that will play somewhere around 20 to 25 minutes and probably get you around 30 fantasy points. So I think he's like a decent cash game play, but not going to play huge minutes. Miami and Memphis. So the big news is Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy Butler is currently questionable. Pretty significant. If Jimmy Butler's out, Dragic, Hero, Kendrick Nunn all look pretty good at their respective prices. Would definitely probably would try to get at least one of those guys in. So, with like all 3 guards a good amount, and then Bam Adebayo at 8.4 does get a pretty big usage boost as well. So the 3 Miami guards plus Bam Adebayo would look really good here if Jimmy Butler's in fact out. If Jimmy Butler's in, I'm probably not going to get to anyone on Miami. So really, that is big news, and that is a later game. So got to keep an eye on that one. On the Memphis side, Jonas Valanciunas, John Morant, they're not out of play. Not the best matchup, though. So contrarian options, JV, in 3 of the last 4 games has gone for 67, 44, and 49 fantasy points. So, I could see taking a shot at him to get a little bit different. But value, they're basically fully healthy, so not a ton else I like. Charlotte, I will say I like nothing here. LaMelo Ball, minutes trending down. Devontae Graham is at 4-5. He played 22 minutes the last game. I just don't know if we have to do it, right? Probably get around 20 to 25 minutes, but I think there's probably better value on the slate. Yeah, right now I'm going to stay away from Charlotte. On the Denver side, there's 2 guys, Nikola Jokic and Will Barton. Nikola Jokic continues to get it done, continues to play 35 minutes, has a lot of upside. I do like Jokic at the top. Jamal Murray, MPJ, contrarian GPP plays. Will Barton continues to play 35-ish minutes, getting a lot of shots up and playing well. Now, I don't know if he's going to continue with this level of production, but it's good to see. Again, the minutes are there. He's actually doing some more peripheral stats, and he's getting a lot of shots up. So I have some interest in Will Barton. It feels a little bit like chasing, but hey, he's playing 35 minutes. It's a good matchup. As long as the game stays close, there's a good chance he'll probably get there. Finally, Clippers and the Mavs. So on the Clippers side, I do like Kawhi Leonard a good amount at 8-7. I think he will fly under the radar in the slate. Played 40 minutes. The Clippers based around an 8-man rotation the last game. So I do like Kawhi. Don't mind Paul George. We want to get a little bit different. But again, he's been struggling shooting the ball. Definitely would prioritize Kawhi. The big news is Serge Ibaka. If Serge Ibaka is out, Ivica Zubac becomes one of the better value plays this late. The tricky part, this is a late game where we might not get that news for a while. But again, if there is no Ibaka, I am pretty high on Zubac. Again, played 35 minutes. And Marcus Morris started for Nick Batum, played over 30 minutes. If he starts again, I think he's a decent value play. So Morris, Zubac for value, Kawhi Leonard at the top. Again, assuming Serge Ibaka is out. Finally, Dallas. It's Luka Doncic for me. I don't know if he's going to be super popular, right? We have Harden that's going to be chalk. We have that Wizards-Kings game I think will be pretty popular. So, maybe guys like Giannis, maybe guys like Luka go a little bit lower owned. 10.7K I think is still a good price point for him. And I still think he has upside. So like Luka at the top. Porzingis, I'm not going to get to on this slate, and the value, we don't have to do it. So that's what I got for the team-by-team breakdown, guys. We got about 10 minutes left for questions. So let's get into it. We are up to date. Yeah, Myers Leonard not going to play for OKC. Kind of expected that. Okay, so, Charlotte's kind of gross. Harden or Giannis? Yeah, so right now it's got to be Harden for me. It's got to be Harden. No Kyrie and no Kevin Durant. For cash games, you play him for sure. Nope, we're still waiting on Raptors news. Oh, Will Barton's been playing really well. Again, I agree. It feels like chasing a little bit, but the minutes are there, and he's getting a lot of shots up. Draftkings refuses to move his price. Kind of good that Zubac is a late game. People won't be on him maybe. Yeah, if Ibaka gets ruled out with like 30 minutes before lock, Zubac will be somewhat low owned. Is it possible to fade the entire Kings game? Yes. There's other games I like. I will say it's risky. It's risky because that is one of the more appealing games in the slate. Joe Harris or Denny, last piece GPP. Let's see. I know Joe Harris is, what's he at? Below 5K, right? He's at 4.7. It's probably Joe. I don't know if his role changes much. He's still going to be a more of a three-point shooter, but I think I feel more comfortable with Joe Harris's minutes than I do Denny. Harden, Sterling, Nance, Holmes, Claxton, Sato, Tice, and Giannis for cash. You got a couple risky value plays, but hey, again, Claxton has carved out a role. He's not going to play big minutes, but he's shown he can get it done in like 15. Sato's a safe value play. I like that. Nance, as long as he plays 35 plus minutes again, I think it looks decent. Sterling Brown, keep an eye on House and Ben McLemore. If they're both in, then I don't like Sterling as much, but everything else again is fine. Would Jordan Poole be a cheap option? So with no Pascal and no Wiseman, does Jordan Poole play a little bit more? Maybe. He's at 3.5. I think you can use him as a GPP value play. I wouldn't go there in cash games because Jordan Poole is more out there just for his shooting. So when he's not, he has been shooting the ball actually pretty well, but when he's not hitting shots, the floor is somewhat low. So yeah, the answer is yes, he is in play, but I don't think I go there in cash. More of a GPP play. Is it okay to fade Harden for GPPs? Yeah. I think you could do it for tournaments. You maybe hope for a blowout or hope that like the Pacers just double team him every single time down. But I would say for an optimal build, Harden's the way to go. Yeah, Halliburton or DiVincenzo, even though Halliburton's on a minutes limit, I'm going to go there. I think we get close to 30 minutes, and at that price point, I think he can pay off his salary. Thoughts on single entry, Harden, Hield, Morris, Holmes, Tice, Sato, Sabonis, and Zubac. I like that. Joe Harris for sure. Yeah, I feel more comfortable with Joe Harris. Switched Levine for Simmons last night. Simmons was pretty solid, but Levine had the 40 real-life point game. Thoughts on Kevin Porter Jr., Halliburton, Barton, Tice, Green, Harden, Holmes, Sato. I think it looks pretty good. Again, the one concern is just Halliburton minutes limit. But it's like, how much of a mid limit can he be on, right? So Beal, Fox, Holmes, KPJ core. I think it looks good. Yeah. Thoughts on Bielitsa? So with Whiteside playing, I'm probably not going to do it. If Whiteside was out, he would have probably played more of the backup five, but I'm probably going to stay away. Grayson Allen, decent value. I'm going to pass. There's too many healthy bodies there for Memphis for me to get excited. I think there's better value in the slate. Campozo, Bielitsa, or Bertans. Honestly, I probably wouldn't play any of them in this slate. I think that there's better value to go to. PJ Dozier or Vassell, better cheap play. I really don't like either. I guess Dozier, and if the game blows out, he'll play a little bit more. But those are value guys I'm not really considering. Harden has 40% projection. Might have to pivot. I mean, for tournaments, you can. I think he's the optimal spend up. Thoughts on game stacking Rockets, Warriors, Prime? Yeah, I like that. I think some people avoid that because of the blow up, but I do like that. Game is right up there with Sacramento and Washington for me. Sabonis or Harden? Cash value shooting guard. I don't know if there is one. I was looking at that too, like trying to find like a value shooting guard. I don't think there is one for cash games at least. Yeah, I would say there is not a value shooting guard I would play in cash games. That is my answer. I would spend up a bit. Eubanks, good value. You can go there. Has played a little bit more because of the blowouts. He's been pretty solid. I would say he's a higher risk play. But yeah, 19, 24, 22 minutes. I'm fine with it. The only issue is he's only center eligible. So a little bit of a riskier value play, but again, he's played well recently. Fade Harden for Jokic. It's risky. It is risky. Indiana Pacers or Brooklyn Nets. As far as like who wins the game, I'll say the Pacers. House is starting. Okay, so yeah, if House is in and he's starting, let's see what they're doing with the starting lineup. We'll have a minutes limit. We'll start. Christian Wood will start. See. It's kind of Kevin Porter Jr. for me, and that's it. Like, I do think that makes Sterling Brown a lot riskier with Daniel House playing as well. And again, Christian Wood is there. He's a high usage guy. Harden and run back with Sabonis. That's fine. I mean, they're not. Never mind. Yeah, I think that's a good build. 4,600 for small forward. Let's see. 4,600. So no one McDermott, no one Osman. No. Marcus Morris at 4-1. Or you just bite the bullet and play Brown. I don't think he's out of play. I do think he's less appealing, though, with both House and Christian Wood in. So one of those two, you either bite the bullet, Sterling Brown. I think he probably still plays close to 30 minutes. But like I said, he is not as good of a play anymore. Or you go to a guy like Marcus Morris, who they said will continue to start. He played 31 minutes the last game. If he plays close to 30 minutes again, then yeah, I have some interest in him for value, especially if there's no Ibaka. That's just, again, one less body in the rotation. Buddy Hield, Barnes, Josh Jackson, or Kawhi, Halliburton, and Bielitsa. Ugh. First one, I guess. I personally wouldn't play Hero if Jimmy Butler plays. I don't think he's completely out of play, but he would be a secondary option. LeVert or Kevin Porter Jr. It's definitely Kevin Porter Jr. Honestly, I haven't looked at Prize Picks at all. I can take a quick peek, but yeah, I haven't really looked today. Let's see what they got posted. Okay, so they do have Harden up there. Let's see. Does anything stand out here? They got Kevin Porter Jr. up. I was going to say maybe look to him, but the one reason I would stay away from Golden State and Houston is potential for a blowout there. You don't want to take the over and then get a blowout. I would say keep an eye on Hero, right? So he's at 26 fantasy points. Doesn't look great if Jimmy Butler plays. If Jimmy Butler's out, I think that's where I go over. So keep an eye on that one. Kings coach said Halliburton minutes limit will be 30 to 32 minutes. Is that what they said? Let's see. Do you have is that on Twitter anywhere? Just because I don't see it. Poof. Whew. Is Smolcic even active for Golden State? That's who you're talking about, right? Was recalled for the G League on Thursday. I'm not going there. So it's the first option. I do like Draymond a lot as long as that game stays close. That's the one risk. I think I'm staying away from the Raptors if everyone's healthy. Van Fleet and Siakam active. Okay, so yeah, that's probably one I'll stay away from. I'll probably stay away from that. Yeah, everyone in the Raptors healthy. Draymond Green or Holmes? So the answer is I love both. I'm more confident in the Sacramento game staying close, so I'll say Holmes. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Marcus Morris, Rashawn Holmes, Draymond Green, KPJ, Barton, and Santamaranci. I think it looks pretty solid. Giannis and Bjelica or Holmes and Jaylen Brown. Probably the second one with Whiteside playing. Paul George, too cheap. He's been struggling shooting the ball recently, but I think he's a fine tournament play. Not really someone I go to in cash games. Giannis or Westbrook is close for me. I like both a good amount. I'll go Westbrook because I like the matchup a little bit better, but I do like both. Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. or Holmes? I would say both. Ellington out? Okay, so Pistons might have some value there, the Pistons. Ellington out. Well, we already have Magruder doubtful for Detroit. Like Josh Jackson's at 5-1. He'll probably have to play more if you want to get a little bit different. I think DeLon Wright will have to get a little bit more, a few extra minutes. Not really interested in Sadiq Bey. But yeah, Dennis Smith Jr. I think we're still waiting on him. Ellington out. Magruder doubtful. I mean, did Frank Jackson play the last game? He did play 18 minutes. I mean, maybe consider guys like Frank Jackson, Saban Lee, just because I don't know who else Detroit's going to run out there. From Roto Grinders, 30 to 32 minutes. Okay. I think that makes Halliburton viable. Yeah, Josh Jackson if he starts. I think Josh Jackson is an interesting play if he starts. He's an aggressive player in the offensive end. He hasn't really been amazing, but if he starts, I think he's got to play close to 30 minutes, maybe 30 plus. Thoughts on Sato, Wright, Sabonis, Nance? Thoughts on Sato, Wright, Sabonis, Nance? What do you mean? I think that they're all good options. Justice Winslow revenge game. Memphis is really healthy, so I'm not going to go there. There's a lot of good point guards. I agree. 2 Houston players, 2 Golden State players for GPP. Looks good to me. Again, the one concern is the blowout. Stewart. Yeah, Stewart will play 20 to 25. I think he's a decent value option. No interest in Rui. For me, no. I know he's played well recently. It feels like chasing a little bit. It does. Maybe he's just got his confidence and he's going to start playing this a lot more. But I'm probably going to pass for now. Toscano and Anderson, I think that's getting a little bit too cute. And just Golden State's, even with a couple guys missing, Steve Kerr can just run everyone like 15 minutes off the bench. Yeah, Nance or Morris. I think right now it's Nance if he plays 38 minutes again. There's no guarantee, though, he plays that against. Like, Nance is just kind of like a fine option, not someone I'm really excited about playing. Tice a good play. I think he's one of the better value plays of the slate. 7,900 for small forward. All right, guys, couple more minutes here. 7,900. Let's see. Yeah, so definitely not on Powell with those Raptors guys back. Not super interested in Middleton. Not really interested in Gordon Hayward. I guess by default, it's Jaylen Brown with no Kemba Walker. McGee, yeah, he's in play for tournaments. 76ers, like Whiteside, out of minutes limit, so I'm not going to go there. Thoughts on Marcus Morris? If he starts again, I think he's a decent value of 4-1, played over 30 minutes. Giannis, Bjelica, or Holmes, Jaylen Brown? I think it's Holmes, Jaylen Brown. Not super interested in Bjelica with Whiteside playing. Would you do Harden and Holmes or Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr. for cash? It's got to be Harden and Holmes. You can't fade Harden in cash games, in my opinion. Sterling starting. Okay, so again, like, he's not out of play, Sterling Brown that is, but he is riskier with Wood in there, with House in there. So I'm not saying he's out of play. Oh, Dennis Smith Jr. is active for the Pistons, so he'll probably get some decent backup run, but I don't love the price on him. Yeah, Hield or Draymond is just tough. I am pretty high on both. I prefer Draymond as a player because he does more of the peripherals, but Buddy Hield's been coming on recently. I think upside-wise it might be Buddy Hield, even though Draymond has a good amount of upside too. I mean, the only risk of Draymond is just, the blowout concern. Yeah, I need to see the starters for the Heat, but really, like, it's a situation where it's kind of like if you land on, it's whoever you land on is fine with the guards, right? I never had, it's like the Raptors when they're fully healthy with VanVleet, Lowry, Siakam. It's kind of just like, okay, who's the cheapest? Who fits? Because all three of Nunn, Dragic, and Hero probably get over 30 minutes of Jimmy Butler's out. Again, they get a pretty big boost. I would say Dragic is probably the safest, just because he'll have the ball in his hands a good amount. So safety-wise, Dragic. Hero a little bit more reliant in the scoring. But if he is shooting the ball well, we've seen some big games. And then Nunn is the cheapest. So really, I don't have a super strong take there. I think my take is go with what fits your lineup. I think Dragic is the safest. Hero's the guy the most reliant in the scoring. And then Nunn is the cheapest. I would like all three. Honestly, I would like all three if there is no Jimmy Butler. Yeah, Boucher starting. Honestly, it doesn't do a ton for me. It doesn't. I'm not convinced by those minutes. He's starting at the 5. So let me get this straight. When the Raptors are missing half their team, they don't start Boucher. When they get everyone back, now he starts. Yeah, PG thoughts. Fine for tournaments. Been struggling shooting the ball recently. 3.9K for power forward. Might not be much here. Again, this is the last question, then I'll get out of here. I'll talk about Boucher really quick. You can go there in tournaments, but he's 7-1. He's 7.1K. It's not like we're getting him at a discount, right? He's priced up from a lot of those guys being out. And it's like now they want to start Boucher, really? It's just so dumb, to be honest. But yeah, so power forward, there's not much here that I like, to be honest. I will say probably it's just Batum. Played 26 minutes off the bench. We probably get around 25 minutes, so yeah, it's him, but that's not something I love. So that's it, guys. Yeah, right. Good luck to everyone. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Keep an eye on the news. We're still waiting on some pretty big news, right? So a couple pieces of news that we're still waiting on. Jimmy Butler, that's pretty big, right? Hero, Dragic, Nunn, Bam, all get a massive boost if he's out. Serge Ibaka, also pretty significant. If he's out, Ivica Zubac becomes a really good value play. And then I think that's it. That's really the big news. And keep an eye on who Boston starts. I will say, though, just be a little bit careful. It's Brad Stevens. So that's really the recap, guys. Good luck to everyone, and I will see you all back